Craig.
All right, Craig. Can't have a podcast without that at the very beginning. Well, welcome back to another episode of this here Rules and Jewels and D&D Schools podcast. Normal crew again today. Isaac. Yep.
Hello.
Joe. Fantastic.
I'm back again.
I'm glad we're all
Like
here
tag team.
again. Mini variety episode today because we realize that we're burning through all the big topics very fast. Nah, just kidding. We got tons of topics.
So
Never
many
heard of-
topics.
Never heard of a topic shortage in my life. So what do we want to start on today? We want to start on funny stuff, or we want to start on like
You may direct it, sir. 'Cause you got all the topics.
do I have all the topics? I told you guys to
Yeah.
prepare topics.
I got a couple.
That's what I thought.
I got
I got
like
a
some, but all the ones that I think of are bigger ones that take more time.
Well, maybe you're our big topic guy. But today, smaller topics, medium-sized topics. I want to start with the smallest small topic.
Okay.
Can you store raw food in a bag of holding to make it last longer?
Okay. I got to look up one thing.
I've looked. I swear I tried to look this up pretty recently and like couldn't get a definitive answer.
The DM call.
So breathing creatures inside the bag can survive up to a number of minutes equal to 10 divided by the number of creatures.
Yeah, implying
So
that there
that's
isn't
10
any
minutes
air.
of air.
That's
is
the
what that
air you go
implies.
in with.
Mm-hmm.
That's the air that comes in when you open the flap, but it dissipates very quickly, right?
I guess so.
Into
That
this other
implies
plane.
10 minutes of air for a normally breathing creature.
Yeah.
It's not exact because there's that says when they begin to suffocate, and holding your breath is anyway. So 10 minutes of air feasibly every time you open the bag, which makes it not a vacuum. However, once that air is gone, it is apparently there's no more. And if you vacuum seal things, it does make them last longer.
Yeah, and like
So
the way I understand
it's
it,
not still not infinite, but it does make them last longer.
because like metals don't rust in your bag of holding, right? Does that imply that
I
there's no
don't know.
moisture
If you-
in the
if
bag
you-
of holding?
If you put a small metal rod in a jar of water inside
Yeah.
the bag of holding when it rusts,
Well, yeah, because it's in an environment that causes it to rust, moisture. But if you stick a metal rod in your bag of holding outside of a jar of water, as in you just stuck it in there, the only place it has any potential to oxidize is the place you touched it before you put it in the bag. So if you put it in totally like with rubber gloves on, it could potentially last forever. It's like another
I have my white linen gloves.
I have
We're
my
going to put
white-
this metal
hunk of-
rod into the bag of holding now.
we're gonna experiment with the bag of holding. They kind of describe it as like another little like demi-plane, right? Where
Yeah,
It
it's a
stores
little
your
pocket
crap.
dimension.
it's a little like a little
Yeah.
pocket dimension. In this pocket dimension, though, if there's no moisture and there's no air, and we don't really know what the temperature of it is, but if there's no moisture and no air, I don't know. Is it cool? Is it like room temp in there? Even if it was room temp, would the lack of air keep it preserved for a decent amount of time? Can I use my bag of holding as a fridge? Is what I'm asking.
I mean, ultimately, no, because if
Yeah.
if it says you can that something can breathe in there for 10 minutes, then there's air. At least when you open it or put something in it.
Yeah.
So there is air going in there every time you open it and put something in there. If you put something in there and just never open it again, I would say that like it would decay normally for I don't know, maybe 24
minutes.
hours.
Oh, okay.
Because the whatever you put in there is not breathing like a human would, so it gets longer. But after that, I mean, 24 hours at the most, maybe, and then after that, it would decay much slower, but it would still decay because that's how things work.
Well, yeah, I'm not asking if it keeps it fresh permanently, but like maybe for a while, right?
Maybe. I don't
Like
know. The
longer than
temperature-
keeping it in a bag on your backpack.
Are you borrowing this pocket dimension from the elemental fire plane, or are you
No.
borrowing
You're borrowing it from like
You reach in there, your hand burns off.
Yeah, right.
You reach in there and you put some meat in there, and now it's cooked when you roll it out.
It's actually
like,
just
all right, ready to
an
go.
incinerator bag. It just is where you put your garbage. The garbage bag of holding.
Well, what's funny is they had a thing on Critical Role that I think was a homebrew thing called a bag of colding, which did act as a preserving bag.
I think a garbage bag
That
of
would
holding
be pretty
might
cool. Like if you like, I have a bag of holding. Can I get it enchanted to where it'll be cold in there?
Yeah, that's a fun idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
Can I get a bag of holding that does have fire that destroys whatever I put into it, so that when I kill someone, I can dump them in the bag? All right, guys. What do
you
we
have
do
to
with all
drop
these
it in though.
bodies?
You can't deposit it with your full hand. It's too dangerous.
Yeah. It's too dangerous. But like, you kill a bunch of people, or like you need to get rid of some evidence or something of your D&D crime, and you're like, put it in my garbage bag of holding.
What
It'll go away
happens
forever.
on those bags, the enchanted ones? What happens when you turn them inside out?
Oh wow!
Does like fire erupt out of it?
A fireball goes off.
Yeah,
and
it
closes
sets
back
up a
up.
fireball. Yeah, and the cold one like freezes everything in a 5-foot radius.
And the enchantment is gone, or does it maintain if you can somehow flip it back in without freezing your hand off?
I would think the enchantment is gone if it dissipates.
But
like
like
that
a bag of yeah, because it's an enchantment. Like a bag of holding doesn't stop being a bag of holding when you turn it inside out.
Yeah,
so all
but
the
the
crap falls out
enchantment
of it.
the enchantment might stop if you eject everything from the bag, including possibly the enchantment. That's a fun idea, though. I like
That's
that.
a fun idea. Yeah. Different bags of holding for different scenarios. Because
you get one like level 5 fireball that you can just use.
Yeah. I'm in an emergency. Open the bag.
Like see ya. But it also like destroys everything that comes out too. Like
everything you put in there is already destroyed.
Well, the garbage bag of holding it, it'd already be destroying it. It'd have to be
but you also have to make the dex save because you're the one.
Would it be like a cone? It'd be like a cone attack that comes out of it.
I think it wouldn't go until you turned it completely inside out, and at which point it would be a sphere. It would be coming off of. There would be like a small. It would be like a.
If you're standing behind the bag,
350 degree cone.
I'm thinking like it wouldn't hit if you held it out in front of you and like flipped it open and punched the bottom out the front. It wouldn't hit you. It hit everyone in front of you.
Well, I guess it depends on when it's like. Because when you flip a bag inside out, does the stuff dump out as soon as the first part is inside out, or does nothing dump out until the whole thing is completely inside out?
I don't think they've ever. I don't think that's been clarified.
It's never come up before. But I would think it would be, it would have to be completely inside out. Would be my interpretation. Mm-hmm. And at which point, it's coming off of the whole thing, and there would be a very small sliver that you could stand in, but it would be smaller than a person's body.
A bag of preservation. That's what it would be called.
For the refrigerator one.
Yeah.
I mean, bag of colding is much snappier.
Yeah. Bag of drying, so you can make beef jerky in your bag, dude.
Bag of drying, so you can throw it in there and it dries your clothes.
Yeah, dries whatever you put in it.
Yeah, you just enchant bags.
Prestidigitation when I can buy a 50,000 gold bag.
This is my washer bag. This is my dryer bag.
I took a pocket from the elemental plane of water and this one to wash.
Yeah, it cleans everything that comes out of it. Perfectly clean, but dripping wet. And then you drop it into the drying bag of holding. And it's so incredibly devoid of moisture that it sucks it all out instantaneously. No, you could have a dual purpose enchantment, right? It has a little switch on the side.
My bags of holding have switches on them. What are those for? So I can do my laundry.
This is the wash cycle. Watch this. You can hear it spinning.
Don't reach in there while it's washing. It might get your hand caught.
That's when you don't. What you do is you get your bag of garbage, your garbage bag of holding, and you give it to someone and don't tell them it's a garbage bag of holding. And then they
it's
toss
like
the crap
it
in
would
there.
act essentially as a cursed item, right?
Yeah. Okay, in that case, it can't emit heat when you open it. It has to act like a normal bag of holding until you reclose the lid.
And then it actually is a cursed item.
Then it would be actually like a curse. It incinerates instantly whatever's inside of it. As soon as
you get
the
a new
lid's
bag of
closed.
holding, and you're like, awesome, this is great. You put something in there. All right, I need that. Where is it?
Open it up, it's just gone.
There's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there.
I don't know. It might be funnier if when they go to put their hand in there, it comes back as a cauterized stump.
Oh yeah, it could burn you if you reached far enough. But like, it can't emit heat. It has to give the illusion of being a bag of holding.
What a great trap that would be.
Yeah.
A new
on?
bag of holding. Great. I'm gonna find out what's in there.
Burn yourself. Freeze your hand in the colding bag. Oh man, bag of holding variant systems. That went a place I didn't expect it to go. How delightful!
That's the beauty of the podcast. That's what it's for.
Okay, well, I think that's pretty much thoroughly explored.
But you want to talk about, I don't know, bags of insects or something?
It could be a bag of air, and that way you could live inside of it.
You can stick your head in it.
You can stick your head in it, or you need a cold breeze.
I need to hide. I'm going to jump in my bag of air.
Or you need a breeze. The room's kind of hot. You open it up. You open up that one next to your bag of colding, and you just get a nice like AC effect in the whole room.
Don't jump in your bag of air because it'll take someone else having to turn it inside out for you to get back out.
Well, they could pull you out. You're just like floating in this like circular swirling thing of air, and you're spinning around, but you're not going to die. It's just going to suck.
On the cover of it, it'll just say Lay's potato chips.
That's my bag of air.
It's my bag of air. Mostly air. There's a bunch of chips at the bottom, though.
It's like the crumbs.
You get in there.
I jumped in there. I ate the chips last time. Sorry, guys.
Don't put any.
No, it's all there.
Don't put any loose things in your bag of air. You'll never get them all out. They're everywhere in there unless you turn it inside out. In which case, it blows your house over.
You jump in there. It's like I don't know if you ever in like elementary school they had those. If you sold enough candies, you got to jump in that air thing. And
that shoots the money everywhere.
Yeah, you jump in there, and it's just wind blowing all over.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh my God. That's what I'm thinking. You go in there, and it's like that. And so if you drop the loose things in there, they're just flying around all over the place. It has to be like big, heavy things that can sit at the bottom.
That's when you get your bit of bit of extra dimensional space from the plane of pandemonium.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, this is great. New bags of holding. I love it. All right. Well, what's next then, boys?
Uh,
Do we want to talk about what we briefly talked about before we started recording, Isaac, or do you want to talk about?
It's completely up to you, sir. I will let you drive this ship, and I will step in when asked.
Let's do a listener suggestion from our very own Brian.
Excellent. The very own Brian.
Yep, this is our Brian. He wanted us to talk about the way we do initiative in the campaigns, and I think that's really it, right? Yeah.
Initiative and rest were the two things.
Initiative and rest. Yeah. So I think that as far as you do initiative the same way, right?
Yeah, I switched over to the way Michael did.
Okay. I'm going to shot in the dark of why we do it this way. It makes it go by a lot faster. It makes fights much more streamlined where it still totally works. You don't have to worry about stepping on anyone's toes. We can go, all right, everyone that's got a hire, go. And as soon as someone goes, I'm going to do this, they know, everyone else knows, I got to wait till they're done. So it's still, you don't have any overlapping issues. It speeds up combat dramatically. And combat is still slow sometimes, but it does speed it up dramatically. Mm-hmm. That's what I like about it.
I had a topic that would go with this.
Okay.
We
meld it in there.
Group attacking. So we mix our spells together or something, and the way you could describe it, I don't know, but you do something together, and you do maybe like it pushes the enemy back or something, or they fall over or something.
I got you. And that could totally work with the way we do initiative. That should be like a plausible thing we can do.
That sounds interesting. I can tell you the immediate thing that I think could end up being a problem with that is that so the way that we do initiative is generally we have the monster or set of monsters generally all go at the same time. As we get into campaigns further, that may change a little bit, but anyway, we go in blocks. So say I have a monster, I roll its initiative, and it's a 15. My players all roll their initiative. Anyone who rolls over a 15 goes at the top of the round, then the monster goes, then everyone else goes at the bottom of the round, and then we start the round over, and the top of the round goes again. So that works out mostly. There are potentially a couple problems with it that we have not run into yet, but I feel like at some point we're going to have to address it, but maybe not. Who knows? The problems are that they're like on things that refresh at the beginning or end of someone's turn. If they are taking turns in different order every time, that can be a problem, such as Monk Stunning Strike. If, for instance, your monk goes, we'll say for the sake of this argument, everyone rolled above the monster, everyone goes at the top of the round, then the monster goes.
Yeah.
So we'll say that your monk goes first in the first round, Stunning Strike something, and that thing is stunned until the top of his next turn.
Yeah.
So if he takes his turn at the bottom of that order next round, that is giving everyone double time to hit a stunned creature. So that is something that we kind of just, anytime that happens, we're like, okay, well, he's
also to fix
stunned at the top of the round.
To fix that, as soon as the top of the round comes, no matter if he decides to go last or in the middle, at the top of the round it ends. That's whenever.
Yeah, it does get a little tough trying to keep up. I mean, it's mostly okay, but it does add a little bit of a hiccup because you got to keep track of who's had a chance to hit this guy.
Yeah,
to make sure everyone gets the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I can also see the problem of it in like the monsters or the players where you go, here's this monster, and then every single player gets to pile on before it's their turn. Or in a monster's case, it's almost more detrimental for the players than it is for the monsters because players typically have a lower health pool. When 5 monsters can all attack at the same time, they can kill a player, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of already happening. Because generally the monsters will go with the same initiative.
Sometimes, though, I have definitely played where they're split up.
Yeah, and depending on if it's multiple, especially if there's multiple named monsters, then they will generally have separate initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like, a pack of goblins, no one's going to be like, okay, well, this goblin over here has a different initiative than this goblin over here.
Yeah, true.
But as far as the group attack thing goes, that's interesting. The only sort of place where that gets sticky is because of the way legendary actions work. They go off at the end of someone's turn, and if 2 people are doing a turn at the same time, then that does not give a spot for 2 legendary actions unless someone is holding their action to group attack, in which case they lose their reaction, but that would be how that would have to work, I think.
Well, like if you were trying to cheese a legendary action by having 2 people cast some spell that does a thing, like instead of banishing, you have 2 people cast banish, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would just be use 2 legendary actions because that's how it would be normally, right?
Well, but it's a little weird because maybe his legendary action does something that would affect that second banish, right? So in a normal round, you get one person goes, okay, I cast banish, and the thing resists it in some way. And then for its legendary action, it looks at the thing that's, that would have cast that second banish and knocks it out or sends it, polymorphs it, does something to where it can't do something.
Yeah.
So then its turn rolls around and it can't banish.
But if
you're doing both at the same time, then your legendary action doesn't get to do that. I don't know. It's a sticky widget, but
that's like I feel like that scenario of a legendary action. Sorry. Is like a pretty edge case, especially in the first 10 levels almost.
And really the the only problems with the initiative, the way we do it, that I have found so far are legendary actions and reactions.
Yeah.
And I try to cut down on the reactions by saying everyone, I mean, you guys can all go whenever you want, but everyone still has to do one turn at a time. And that cuts down on the reactions. That way you're not like, well, I'm going to wait until this guy does that. I'm going to move. And then someone else is like, oh, I wanted to do something first. And like, okay, I'll wait. And technically then becomes a reaction because you're holding an action. So
I think you're just like,
it gets weird with the rules, how they work.
You're just like parsing the data in a different way, right? Oh, you're going to do something? You're not holding your action. You just haven't taken your turn yet. You're letting them take their turn first.
Yeah. And for most of the time, it's fine.
Yeah.
But there are occasions where it's like, well, you can't, if you're waiting until this guy does something to where then you can do something, depending on what the thing is, it might cross into that reaction territory.
But then you can just like, it does open it up for more teamwork scenarios too.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone goes at roughly the same time.
Yeah,
like what Joe,
I like it so far. It certainly makes the combat, especially with 5 people in our group. It certainly makes the combat go by a little bit quicker because everyone's sort of looking at what they're gonna be doing at the same time, and the people who have got it ready just go, and then the people who are still looking to get to go a second later.
I think that like with what Joe said is like you declare it at the top of your block, right? And so that you can't wait for anyone else to do anything. You have to declare at the very beginning, we're going to do this combo attack. We're going to attempt to do this combo attack. And then there's like a check associated with, can you coordinate well enough? And then if you can succeed the coordination check, then you can do the combo attack.
Yeah. And that's like just for an example, let's say Merton and Vonic are fighting somebody. Like maybe they go like, you go high, I go low. So one guy goes like punches the head, Merton goes with the club at the knee, and it flips the guy over and takes him to the ground. Maybe it does like an extra D6 of damage and he's prone or something. Kind of what I'm getting at. Like you guys work together to like get like an extra like he's prone or.
So there was I think it was 3-5. You could do called shots.
Yeah.
And you just got a penalty. It was like the Berserk. Is that what it is? To get the -5, or like a sharpshooter, take a -5. Yeah,
great weapon master type thing.
Stuff like that. It's like that. You're like, I'm going to hit them specifically in the head, and there would be a bonus for hitting them, but a subtraction to your chance to hit.
Yeah,
it could work like that too.
Yeah, the combo attack thing could be. It sounds interesting. It would be. I mean, I have to think about it a little while to try to balance it.
I'm not going to be able to balance it in this in this recording.
I'm thinking about it, and it's like, well, you kind of already you sort of get that just by like doing things like flanking, and you can just flavor that with whatever you want, and that is your thing. You get the advantage on your attack by flanking. But if you go too far into that, like, because monsters are going to eventually, like, if we bring something new, monsters are going to be able to do it too, and monsters tend to be able to have the stat blocks that they would need to do those things successfully more often than players, I think.
But like monsters, most monsters aren't like inclined to work together in the same way that a named boss, yeah, sure, and they could do the combo thing, but like a pack of goblins isn't going to coordinate in that way, or a pack of
who says you?
Yeah, true.
These goblins have been working together for a long time. Maybe they don't even have to talk about doing things like that. They just do it.
I mean, I saw how David died. They just went gobble gobble, and then they started shooting rocks at him.
Yeah.
There wasn't any coordination. They were just like tree, and they just started shooting.
Well, yeah, but again, if my players are going to be allowed to do that, then like I'm going to be like, maybe this pack of goblins has started working together. Obviously, I didn't bring it in there because I'm just trying to keep the combat moving and making sure like it's not really in the rules anyway. I can just flavor it with a bit of this is how he does it. But
I'm trying to imagine a mechanic. I'm trying to imagine this like bunch of goblins run out, and they've got like the goblins on the left with the bolos to like tie you up, and the goblins on the right with arrows, and the goblins in the middle with swords, and they're like, goblin, Goblin Team Bolo, attack now!
Goblin Team Bolo, go, go, go,
go, go, go! And then as they get thrown, they're like, arrows, quick now! All right, Squad 3, move in for the melee.
But yeah, and to that point of monsters doing that, they've kind of got it built in a little, like into the rules a little bit with things like wolves who get pack tactics.
Pack tactics, yeah. That's the one in-game example.
Yeah,
I like flanking. To me, I'd be open to like a modification of the flanking rules, because I feel like flanking is sometimes it feels fine and sometimes it feels too specific. Like we're across from each other, but we're not quite across from each other. So no flanking. I've had that diagonals and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's a balancing issue more than it is this is how it would work in real life. Like, I think there has to be like some sort of intersect there.
What's the actual rule on flanking?
I believe opposing it's an optional rule. Yeah, and it's opposing squares.
I think it should be. Can you draw a line in between your character and their character, and that line bisects the enemy?
That's essentially what it is.
It kind of is
bisect by meaning half, then that's
not exactly
half
already. Can the line cut across like their base? Not directly in half. Sorry, bisect was the wrong word. But can it cross over the base? So if the base of the monster is here, and they're diagonal and you're a little off diagonal, even though they're not directly opposing squares, that's still a flank for the purposes of like advantage.
Yeah, if it were real combat, certainly. But you got to think that this is like a game that has to be balanced, and if everyone has advantage on every strike,
but even most scenarios
with very little work,
I think that I don't even think that's unreasonable, because there aren't even a ton of scenarios where flanking is an option.
Really?
I don't know. I think there's a lot. Every time we fight, we have people flanking.
I feel like every time we fight, I'm like, wow, that guy could be flanking right now, but he's not. Like I feel like I end up just punching people. When we fought the big goo monster, like Francisco and David were both standing on one side of it, and I was like, if one of them just moves around, this gets a lot easier.
You can't control that though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, it can be done almost every fight. It's by far the easiest way to gain advantage on a strike is flanking.
Yeah.
And you don't have to leave combat.
Yep. Area. Don't even have to get like an attack of opportunity.
Just walk around.
Just walk around them. Yeah. All right. Well. What else? The resting rules? Is that the other thing?
Resting rules. Yeah. So
okay. Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah.
And I took most of this from Michael. I augmented it a very, very small amount.
Yeah.
Basically, so the way Michael does it is, if you're not in what the DM decides is a comfortable setting, you cannot get a long rest. You can only get a short rest when you sleep overnight.
Yeah.
I changed that a little bit and just said, if you're traveling for a full day, it's going to take 2 sleeps anywhere for you to get a long rest. You can do it camping. That's fine. It doesn't have to be particularly comfortable as long as you get 2 sleeps in after walking for a full day. Otherwise, you're just getting short rests. So when you guys were going through the jungle, only able to get short rests every night because you're getting attacked every night, and therefore you can't, like, your 2 sleeps have to be without extraneous things, like such as fighting to the death. So what that does, I think, because normally it's you can take a long rest every night and you're just full health, completely rejuvenated, going on to the next part of whatever it is you're doing, which is fine if that's the way you want to do it. And some people, I'm sure, like that because they like to be like, I like to have all my options ready whenever I go anywhere, and that's fine. The reason I chose to do it was that some of you guys had mentioned that in some of my stuff, it didn't feel like it was enough going on to really make you have to resource manage your stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to have just combat after combat after combat within a daytime period if it doesn't, because a lot of times it doesn't really make sense. Or feels super forced, like, oh, you took 2 steps after killing that thing and there's this another thing right in front of you. It's weird. So I did
old school dungeon crawling.
Yeah. So I did it to where you just can't get a long rest if you're spending the whole day traveling, and then that way you still get to do some resource management, and it's kind of fun for that gritty part of it that people like.
Gritty survival, yeah.
And but then you don't have to be like, oh well, we've got to walk somewhere that's comfortable because we can't long rest. And now that we're down to 1 hit point and it's imperative that we long rest, we have to like find a place.
The only time
you guys to be like, you can, if you find somewhere safe. And now that Ray is like the tiny hut, that makes it a lot easier for you guys to take a long rest should you need.
I find it, the only time I find it annoying is, well, playing a caster class for one. Woof.
Yeah, it's rough.
It is rough.
But
level 2, it's real rough.
Yep.
The finding somewhere that's restful, like, it seems easy to define, a tavern or inside a building or anything, like, right?
Yeah.
But plenty of people can get a restful night's sleep not in a building, right?
Yeah, that's why I was like, some people go camping. To relax.
Yeah, I'm sleeping out under the stars on a bedroll. Man, got a great night's sleep. I don't need this like a building. I just need like a setup time. Are you willing to spend the time to set up the camp and then get your full long rest? The only other thing that gets me is like time, when you're like, ooh, really, and I get that that's part of it. Ooh, really pressed for time, but we have no choice. We have to wait a full day, 24 hours.
Yeah, that's definitely, that is the trade-off. It's like, well, how important is this rest to you? And most of, like, I would say more than 50% of the time isn't going to be that big a deal. But for those instances where it is, it's that way on purpose, right? It's like, well, these are the choices you have. You can possibly lose something, or you can go into to battle not full.
What do you think about chaining rests? So, like in Michael's, we can take a short rest and we can use our hit dice, right?
Uh-huh.
What if we got 2 8-hour rests? That's a short rest in his. But if we got 2 good short rests in 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Like semi-comfortable. Like we took the time to set up a camp, but it was only a short rest. If we chained 2 of those together, as in like 2 good short rests in 2 days, does that count as a long rest?
I mean, that's essentially how it works in my campaign.
Is it?
I mean, basically, it's 2 sleeps. So 2 what would normally because an overnight
2 8-hour sleeps.
Yeah. So it is like a 36-hour rest is basically what it is. It doesn't have to be 36 hours. It's just 2 sleeps.
It's not like doing nothing all day.
Yeah.
Which we've said it's not that you're doing nothing all day. We can't do anything strenuous.
Right.
But like, I feel like you can have a pretty restful day and still get stuff done.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do all your shopping. It's still
all your the shopping day.
And like, if you're not,
or a library day,
traveling, which means like spending 6 to 8 hours walking in one direction, not pretty much nonstop, that is not restful. If you're fighting something to the death, that is not restful. But if you're just like walking around a town, like shopping a little bit, and then you go and like sit down and have something at a cafe, that's fine.
I don't know. If you walk around a town for 8 hours, that's tiring.
It could be, but you're also like in a place that is prepared to give you things that comfort you. Not like the road where you got what you brought. Hope you're happy with sitting on the ground.
I live in America. There's a McDonald's every 10 miles.
Nah, you live in America, you're not walking anywhere.
You're right. I'm not walking anywhere.
We're into the land.
Yeah. You could get a rest on a horse, couldn't you? Like if you rode a horse,
have you ridden a horse for 8 hours? Not particularly.
I've never ridden a horse for 8 hours. No,
never done that. It's not fun.
I've ridden a horse, but not for 8 hours.
You could show prostate says this is not a long rest.
You could
my butt hurts.
You could get a rest in a wagon.
You could theoretically get a rest in a wagon.
Yeah, like if you
like,
depending on how bumpy the road is.
Yeah. If you're traveling in between cities where it's decently, there's like roads, you know, and you're pulling a wagon, like you could rest in a wagon while it's going.
Yeah, in theory, but I don't know that I would ever make, oh, well, this person gets a long rest because they're in the wagon and the rest of you don't. I don't think I would ever do that.
No, we'd all be in the wagon. It's like a limo wagon.
Oh, so you've hired a driver.
Yeah.
I see.
I mean, how much could it be to hire a driver, right? You just like, listen, man, what are you getting paid to, like, you know, till the fields over there or to like hammer that armor? And they're like, well, I get paid 1 gold a day. And you're like, I'll double your wages if you drive our wagon.
I mean, undoubtedly, if you guys tried to do that, I'd be like, well, you guys were asleep.
Yeah.
Your driver got killed by some goblins.
No. The driver gets to sleep in the hut when we go to sleep, right?
Okay. Wait, easy. While you're asleep? Who's driving? If you're all laying down, who's driving?
Like at night. We're resting during the day. We're like awake because it's not about sleeping the whole time. It's about like not doing a lot the whole time.
Oh, well then, right? I mean, one combat and there you go. No more rest.
Yeah, I suppose.
Don't try to break my rules.
No.
I will throw crappy goblins at you to make you fight.
We have bags. We have garbage bags of holding all around the outside of the wagon.
Come at me, goblins. Don't stick your hand in those bags of holding.
Yeah. And we just like set them up as traps that they reach into, and they have to like really reach in there, and then they're like, ah, and they get burned and they run away, and we never have to worry about
don't pick my bags of holding.
Or a tiny hut's round, right? You make a round wagon.
But then put a tiny hut on top of it.
And then put a tiny hut on top of it. Yeah, like the pumpkin wagon and what you call
it. Cinderella.
Yeah, but it's just like a platform that the tiny hut sits on top of, and like the guy sits on the little chair in the front.
Taking up the whole road. Someone's like, what are you doing? I don't know. They hired me to drive this round wagon.
Pull this round wagon around, and you're like sitting inside of it like, man, the AC on my wagon is great. Ah, yes, breaking the rules, baby.
But yeah, that's resting.
That's a long, complicated workaround, because you'd have to not only hire someone but have a custom round wagon manufactured,
or just an enormous square one, right? That would necessitate, that would like fit.
Yeah.
The 20-foot dome or whatever it is.
How tall is that tower? It's like only 20 foot tall, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
you're gonna put a tower on your wagon.
Yeah, I'll put wheels on my tower.
Don't take off too fast now. You'll tip it over.
No, really wide wheelbase.
Oh, okay. So, horses are nope. You're gonna need at least 50 horsepower to pull this thing.
Well, the thing can be made out of anything, right? So you make it out of like straw.
Oh, it's made out of feathers.
Yeah, my whole tower. It's made out of the lightest material on Earth.
The big bad wolf can easily get in here.
Oh man, I made my whole tower out of aerogel. You know what that is?
Yeah, I've seen that.
that flame resistant gel that's like an inch thick that weighs nothing. The whole tower made out of that, and then the whole tower only weighs like 2 pounds, and you're like, trick the system, baby.
You can knock it over, but you can't burn it down.
You can't burn it down, baby. That'd be fantastic. Man, I love it. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Let's do that. Jeez. Why you got to do this to me?
Because I love it. It's so much fun. I love
like, oh geez, how is everyone who sees this gonna react to this?
I can tell you how they'd react, Isaac. They'd go, holy shit, why didn't I think of that? That's genius.
And then walk up and touch it and it'd fall over, and they'd be like, oh, I see why I didn't think of that.
No.
Oh,
but see, like, that's the wild one.
They're sleeping in it, let me push it over.
That's the wild one. But the dome one is not a wild idea. Like, that's a pretty solid idea. How wide is this dome? How wide is Tiny Hut?
I think Tiny Hut is 10-foot diameter, so...
Yeah. So I need a 20-foot wide wagon? Is that what it is?
Which is pretty
10 foot.
large.
No. 10-foot diameter, not a 10-foot radius. Right?
Let me look.
Is that Let me look. Let's look it up. I want to workshop this right now in this episode.
Great. Just what I wanted.
I'm going to look up
trying to break more things in my game. Hut.
Tiny Hut, 5e.
Tiny hut.
Tiny hut. Here it is. I got it.
10-foot radius.
Radius.
So it is 20-foot diameter.
20-foot diameter. And you can't change the size of it, right?
Also, something to consider, a 10-foot radius, and the key word here, immobile dome.
Does it say that?
It does say that. So you put it in the cart, and the cart just takes off and the dome stays there.
Wait, is it immobile in the sense that if it's on the ground, you can't move the ground? Or is it immobile in the sense that whatever platform it's on, like if it's on a platform that moves, you could ostensibly move it, right?
I think it probably just dissipate.
I need to hit up old J Crawl on Twitter and be like, if I put my tiny,
I'm trying to break the game. Can you do this?
If I put my tiny hut on a 20-foot round wagon, could I pull it? Is what I want to know. I should ask the D&D Reddit. I doubt anyone's even thought of this. This is genius.
Make my own medieval RV.
yeah, that's what it would be, dude. It's like tiny home living before it was cool, you know. Instead of turning a crappy old van or a crappy old bus into like a little house, you turn your crappy old wagon into a house. What about like those big, you know, like in Diablo 3, the big wagons, like the wagons that the salespeople are in and they like fold out? Like
the trade caravan wagons.
Yeah, like big caravan wagons. Those things are huge, right? You could like live in that.
I mean, a couple people could.
I need to think of
a group of 5 people could.
Could you? Well, okay. At a higher level, this is what you'd do.
You'd
have a normal wagon that looks completely normal, but it has a door on the front of it that leads to your mansion.
I mean, that's sure. If you're high enough level to cast Magnificent Mansion, well, I don't know, because that door, I mean. Yeah, you'd have to like enchant. I would say that if you spent enough time to enchant a wagon to do that.
If you spent a year putting it in the same spot on the wagon every day.
Yeah. I would be that would be cool. If you spent a year doing it. Yeah.
That could be something you could buy in game, but it's just obscenely expensive, right?
Yeah, the first person who does it is like, "Come on down,
come on down." Yeah, we'll give you a mansion on wheels, baby.
Oh, you want to custom order this mansion on wheels? All right, we'll see you back in a year.
See you in a year.
We got these ones in stock, or I can make a new one in a year.
These are the standard layouts. If you want anything else, you gotta custom order with us.
And I can only do one custom order per year because I only have one spell slot for it, right?
Nah, you get a ton of people. What level is that?
Okay. I think it's I want to say 7.
Level 7? So if you're a level 20 wizard, you could cast it twice in a day, right?
3 times. Right?
I think if you cast it, though, the other one goes away.
That's true. It does.
Oh, yeah. You need more people. But like... Listen, for the amount of money
of wizards will make you a hunter.
me and my 2 buddies trained our entire lives so we can make bank.
We adventured our entire lives.
I mean, think about it. If you can sell this thing for like millions of gold, you would only need to make one a year, right?
Adventurers' primary goal is maybe not money. Maybe.
No, this is like your retirement plan, right? Like you've saved the world.
Plan? If you're a level 20 wizard, if you haven't done enough like adventuring to make your own retirement, I think you might be doing it wrong.
Yeah.
What if you're just a guy who likes magic but doesn't adventure, and you get to like level 20 via training, and you're like, all right,
theoretically, yes.
Yeah, it's like the killing boars, or like the picking.
1,000 years, and
or you're picking the flowers,
entire
right?
life, and you're like 700 years old, and you're like, I need some money.
Yeah, or you're a level 20 adventurer, or you're an adventurer who could cast this spell, and the whole group's like, dang, all right, we just completed this thing, and you're like, all right, sweet, and they're like, someone goes, I hear the big storm is coming in a couple of years. We'll need you to prepare for war, and you're like, I'm going to need a lot of money for that.
So I could every day for a year make a magnificent mansion. Or I could every day for a year, like make 25,000 gold worth of whatever I want
with Wish. Yeah.
Yeah. Which seems like the better option, honestly.
Yeah.
What does that work out to? Let me see. I need a calculator. It's 25,000. Is that what it is?
Pretty sure. And
Look it up and
is 9,125,000 gold.
Okay,
If you can't retire on that, then you're spending too much money.
So, like, how much does a spell scroll of Magnificent Mansion cost? We're getting really into the nitty gritty of this, but like
spell scrolls. Obviously, all of this depends on campaign setting, but yeah, you could make spell scrolls for a living.
If you got 365 wizards to cast it at the same time in the same spot, could it be permanent in one day?
No, it would have to, I would say has to cast it for a year.
Here's how I would do that.
Okay.
If all 365 wizards can all roll the same number on a D20.
Oh, come on. No. If you can get 365 wizards that powerful to get together to do this, that should be permanent, dude.
They gotta all be on the same page, though. That's why I said if they can all roll the same number on a D20.
That's random. You could train to be like, you could sync up with someone without a lot of training. You know what I mean? You get your 365 wizards.
Okay, sure. Then you can add your modifier, but you still have to like roll. Everyone has to roll over like a 17.
Okay, yeah, sure. Over that, sure. The statistical odds of all of them rolling the exact same number, you might as well just say it's impossible.
But if any one of them doesn't roll over 17, then it's a wash.
You got to try again. You got to try again tomorrow. Yeah. But like odds are you'll eventually get it, right? And probably
over the course of a year, sure, but you could have just made one and not had 365 people to split the profits with.
No, you just pay them a small fee each time. You don't tell them what you're doing with it.
You don't think that these level 20 wizards would figure it out?
Nah, they're idiots, dude. This is such new ground.
Top stat on every one of them, and they're like, I don't know what we're doing here.
But they're wizards, so they're not economists.
I'm just casting the same spell over and over at the same spot. It's got to be the same as everyone else's. I can't figure this out.
Because you can be high enough to cast Magnificent Mansion and not wish, right? So, like...
Yeah, but that's still, like, level 15 or something?
I actually don't know what level you get 7th level spells.
I think it's 14 or 15.
That's not level 20, though. That's a long way from 20.
I guess. Depends on the campaign, right?
Yeah. But if you're going by XP, the bulk of XP is in the back half, right?
It's level 13. Level 13 to get this level 7 spells.
Okay, yeah, that's far enough away from Wish that you could make a profitable business out of selling moving mansions. Or it doesn't even have to be moving. You could you could solve the housing crisis for rich people only.
For rich people? Is there a housing crisis for rich people? I feel like that's not a problem.
No. But if you pack all the rich people into a smaller area, there's more room for all the people who don't have enough money to buy that.
Oh, I'm sure all the rich people will love living
really close together. Yeah. Now you force them. You got to force them to live there. Are you a powerful individual with a lot of people
to do things
with a lot of money?
Always works out well.
It's also a world where I can summon a magic door that has a mansion inside of it. So nothing is out of the realm of possibility here.
Jeez. Like this is getting more and more ridiculous the more we talk about it.
I know. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it so much. It's so great. I want my damn house on a wagon is what I want, dude.
Want my damn house on a wagon.
House wagon. I'm just going to type that into Google and see if I find anything.
Oh, jeez.
House wagon. There it is. There's someone with a little tiny house wagon. Look at that one.
It's called a schooner.
Yeah. No, these look like actual houses on a trailer.
Jeez.
Look at this thing. Oh my God. Look at how big that is. Here you go. I'm going to send this in the Discord.
There is one that just looks like a schooner. I see.
Okay, did you look up house wagon?
Yeah, I typed house wagon.
Yeah, you see the one that's like a full size. Yeah, it's like a scooter with a door on one end, like a full size door. You see the one that's like a tube.
Yeah,
that's great. Look at that little tube.
These are like tiny homes that just happen to be trailers.
Yeah. So if you put I don't know how long this trailer is, but let's say it's 20 feet long. That's probably pretty reasonable for like a tiny house trailer. You could fit 2, 4, 6, 8 bunk beds in there, and then like just a little space at the back to like cook food, and that's all you'd need, right?
I mean, if that's your thing.
plus there's only 5 of us, so 4 beds in the front, 1 bed in the back, and then a little kitchenette, and one
bed in the back. One person's always driving. You just switch out.
You're right. 4 beds and a seating and dining area with a little kitchenette, and then you got your guy driving the wagon, and you just switch out, and you can always have really nice rests.
Jesus.
This is the best.
What does your adventuring party do? Oh, we just travel around continuously. We never stop traveling. We are always moving.
It doesn't even matter. Think you come to a city. You come to a city, right? And you're gonna have to do something in the city, but you rock up in your wagon. You don't even have to pay for a tavern or anything. You can just stay in the wagon, baby.
This town got hookups.
This town got hookups, baby.
Big old wagon coming in, like can't even fit through the gate.
No, you park outside and you walk in, right? It'd be fine.
Yeah, there's an RV park outside the town with hookups.
Yeah.
So
you park outside the town. You put a horse lock on your horse, and you go
horse lock.
Yeah, keeps their legs from moving so they can't get stolen.
Sorry, horse, you have to stand here very still for the next day or two.
Nah, you lock up the wagon. You always have to have one person with the wagon when it's outside of a city. But like, nah, this is a great idea. This is a fantastic idea.
I mean, tiny hut, you actually control who can enter and not enter.
So yeah, tiny hut on a wagon. If you got a 20-foot long wagon,
you just got to make sure no one's around to dispel it.
Yeah, but it can be recast really easily, right?
Like 10 minutes.
Wait, it's not permanent. You have to cast it every day, right?
Yeah,
every day for a year.
Every tiny hut is it's 8 hours a day thing. It takes
until it lasts 8 hours.
The last 8 hours.
Okay, so even oh my god, this just got even better. So you have your big. It can just be a normal wagon, and the sides fold up, and then at the end of the day, they fold down, right? Oh no, wait, we want it constantly, so it'd have to be. And it only lasts 8 hours. That's a bummer, and there's no way to extend it, right?
The way that we could really make some money doing this. All right,
hit me.
Hey, super rich king, you need to travel for diplomatic reasons to another country. Travel in style in the
in
tiny hut on wheels.
In this tiny hut on wheels.
In luxury, you'll be.
It's got AC the whole time.
It'll feel nice in there. You'll have food. Blah blah blah. Everything you need. Bathroom amenities.
That's like the upper middle class version, right? That's the upper middle class like travel wagon. If it's a king, he gets the mansion on wheels.
We'll try this. We'll try it on Michael. Saren actually gets tiny hut as a Twilight.
I get the feeling we don't ever get enough money in his campaign to even buy a wagon.
Don't worry. The one job where we're going to make some money, we're not getting that money.
Get me to a city, I will pickpocket everyone.
We just stole enough money to buy a wagon. We'll just steal a wagon.
There you go. I'll pickpocket a wagon. Hey, what's this in your pocket? A wagon?
any of us carpenters, we'll just build a wagon, right?
There you go.
We'll fell some trees and build a wagon. I think if we're going to build a wagon, it has to be in your campaign. It's the only one we have the money to do it in.
I don't know. I think we could get the Maru to help us out.
You think they could whip us up a wagon?
Hey, could you whip us up a wagon?
You think you could whip us up a 20-foot round?
We'll go and check out another cream camp for you if you whip us up a wagon.
If you do us a 20-foot round wagon, wheel on the front and back. Oh my god, dude! I want to design this thing. I want to like do it up in Illustrator or something just to see what it would look like. It would look hilarious. I never even thought about how tall the dome is. It's, it'd be 10 foot in the middle and it tapers off on the edges, right? Oh man.
Yeah.
That's almost worse, though. That's a terrible use of space, isn't it?
I mean,
I guess if you're sleeping in it, it's fine. Yeah,
it's not for like partying in. It's for an 8-hour sleep.
When it's on your wagon, it's like a hippy dippy bong den that has like the bean bags up against the corners, like, and you lay down in those.
I got some bean bags in the corner, man.
I got some bean bags in my hut, dude. I got a pre-installed hookah in the middle of my wagon. Oh my god, this is incredible. That's an incredible idea. We definitely need to like expand on. Well, I think we've expanded on it all the way.
Completely. It is expanded.
That was maximum expansion of that idea. And now I need to see if I can find it. I don't listen, man. That was peak. That was peak podcasting right there.
Now you gotta have some falling action. You can't just end at the climax.
Look at this thing. Oh my god. Oh my god.
No one who's listening to this can look at what you're looking at.
Yeah, we don't know.
You know what? I know. Yeah,
you see what you're looking at.
You're right. I'll man, I should make a website. If I make a website, I'll start putting links to like pictures and stuff.
For the YouTube version of this episode.
Yeah, I'll edit the pictures in.
The title card should just be your design of your hut on the
my
wagon.
hut. Yeah. No, I'll try to have the pictures of the wagons I'm like talking about and showing on here pop up as like when we're talking about it in the YouTube version. I'm just creating work for myself is what I'm doing.
Yes, you are.
But I'm saving these pictures because this is such a genius idea, dude. Like, look at this little tube one right here. This will be perfect. Yeah, that could totally be it. All right. Well,
your tube RV, magical tube RV.
Magical. Look at this one. It looks like a little tiny like
we can't look at
shack in the woods. I know you can't look at it, but I'm enjoying it. So sit there and listen to me enjoy it. All right. Whatever you guys want to talk about for the last 20 minutes of topics, like bring it on, baby. I'm just grabbing a couple wagon pictures to use for this, and then.
Did you have anything else? You didn't. The only topic you've given us was the food in the bag of holding.
Sorry.
I got two other ones.
Okay. We've gone through a couple of them.
One of them, loss of limbs for characters and for enemies.
That ties in a little bit to rest, as to how gritty you want your campaign to be. Like, if you want it to be particularly gritty, then yeah, have things like lingering injuries, and then your rests are not just, you're 100% now after.
You tell me I can't grow my hand back in 24 hours.
I think a big thing that would be really cool is if you could target limbs and stuff on enemies in the sense of like this creature has a tail. And we spend the majority of our attacks trying to cut that tail off. And once we finally do, it can't attack us with the tail anymore. It loses the attack.
I think the dangerous side of this is like, if you're a player and you lose your hands and you're a fighter, that's rough, depending on the setting. Yeah.
I don't know. I think you could roll it into like, you have to role play and discover new ways to work around it. And that could lead to some really cool RPing.
That could, but also if you're going to take the time to learn to fight with your feet or whatever, that's like, and realistically, like, every attack you have is a disadvantage for like 6 months while you figure this out. That feels terrible.
I could see like, okay, if you just lost a hand and you're like a boxer style fighter, I don't think
punch
it would
with
be
your stump.
Yeah, or you could get a glove or a bracer that has a weight on the end of it, right?
Yeah.
That's not
like
out
you're
of the
a fighter who uses a sword and you lose your hand. You like manufacture some sort of thing that clips over your stump and it's a blade.
Or you learn how to use your other hand.
Yeah, but even like the difference between fighting with a sword and fighting with a blade at the end of your arm,
that's different.
Is huge.
Yeah, that'd be a wildly different thing.
Yeah,
even if you're a monk who can punch and kick already, if you lose both your arms, it's not impossible to fight only with your feet, but much more difficult.
Yeah, your balancing issues are going to be way different. But yeah, like losing limbs and stuff, it's it sounds super cool when you like right when you first talk about it. Like, wow, that could lead, like you were saying, I can lead to some really cool things. But you got to make sure your players are down for it because
that's a session 0. Do you guys mind?
Yeah.
You guys want to have your limbs,
and it works both ways, right? Like if you can attack limbs of monsters, then monsters can attack your limbs.
Yeah.
And there are some monsters who have stats for their limbs, and that's great. I like it when those things happen. But yeah, if you're gonna have a lingering injury of some kind, especially one that is going to affect your combat mechanics on your character, everyone's got to make sure that they are ready for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And depending on the setting, it's either a much bigger deal or a much less of a deal. Yeah. If your setting's like super magical and there's magic everywhere and they can heal anything, it's probably not that big a deal. If you're in a setting where there's robots and tech, it's probably not that big a deal. You get a robot hand or a robot leg. But if it's in between those two things where getting your arm healed back on is an endeavor, it can really detrimentally impact how you
especially
play.
In like where it would matter in those early levels where you'd be more likely to lose a limb in the first place.
Yeah, because you don't have like
that's where it would make more sense, honestly, because then you'd have to grow, and as you level up, you develop the skills to compensate for that.
Yeah, it definitely would make more sense there, but that means that your lower levels are even harder than they normally would be.
Yeah.
That sounds like a cool thing for like a not like a one shot, but like a short campaign.
Right.
Yeah. That could be cool for like a shorter campaign. If you could fit like a training montage in, I suppose. Montage. Time for a montage. But if you can't, like, it could get dicey.
Yeah, I got 20 sessions ahead of me where every attack roll is at disadvantage no matter what I do.
Yeah, that would be rough. It's a cool idea. It would I think that's something that you'd really have to get everyone on board for, like he was saying, like just like, hey everyone, you can have this happen. Typically, I guess what happens is everyone goes, yeah, that sounds sick, and then they get their arm cut off, and they're like, okay, well, how long does this last? And you're like, oh, it's going to be like that for like 10 sessions, and they're like, okay, well, my character just decides he's not going to adventure anymore. My character
decides this is too hard.
My character goes into the woods and hangs himself or something.
I mean, that could lead, like, maybe you do, my character is going to go learn how to do this, so you make another character that's like a temp character for a little bit or something. I don't know.
Hey, guys, we just picked up this guy.
At that point, like, just make your character start off without an arm.
Yeah, you could be like the girl from Legend of Korra who has the water arms. She doesn't have any arms, but she can water bend. She can control water, so she has water arms that she like moves around and grabs people with, and she can turn them to ice to cut people and stuff like that.
There you go. You can just be a wizard, melee wizard, water arm specialist.
Dude, that's a cool character. You just have to work that out with your DM, and then eventually it's just flavor. So at the end of the day, you're just a person with regular arms.
Yeah. I use my watery arms to slice open someone and they turn to ice. Okay, so that's 6 slashing damage?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That's what that is. Yep. I love it. It's a cool like character. It would be a cool character like for a role playing reason. It would be really cool. Not for like a mechanical reason. Well, boys, we're coming up on an hour here, so we did fill the hour.
Any other small things?
I think we might. I don't think I have anything else that fits in to the next 10 minutes.
I don't right now.
Okay. I think that it can end on your water arms cart house building wizard.
Yeah. Hell yeah! That sounds like an awesome character. His arms are made of water, so he can like absorb. It doesn't have to be water; it can be any liquid. So like he could stain the wood real fast, right? Because you have stain arms. You just pass it through, dude.
The shoulders of my shirts are a different color. Don't mind that.
No. You're really buff too, so you do a lot of
you can
do a lot
be
of
as
chest
much as
and
you
abs.
want, I guess. Look at how big my arm is. It's made of water.
Yeah. But your chest and your abs are really hard, so you only do carpentry with your shirt off. That way, it doesn't stain your shirts.
Just stain your shoulders.
You get some stain resistant cloth, right? Magic cloth. Prestidigitation will get rid of it, right?
I don't know. How quick does it have to be before the stain sets?
I don't know. Does prestidigitation get rid of stains?
I don't know. Maybe not red wine stains that have been on there for 5 days.
Oh my god! On the next episode, can prestidigitation get rid of hard stains?
Back with OxyClean, aka prestidigitation.
That's gonna be like episode 200. Can prestidigitation get out deep stains in your clothing? 1 hour episode.
Hey man, that's another gem of a money making machine.
Yeah.
We wash everybody's clothes, bring them to us, prestidigitation and everything.
Yeah, you got anything that has a hard stain? Come on down to Jimbo Wizard's prestidigitation shop. We'll clean anything you got, baby.
Tired of smelling all moldy and gross? Bring your clothes down to.
Do you have a simple item that's both dirty and broken in half? Bring it down. We'll take care of that. Prestidigitation and mend. We can fix anything.
2 for 1 special.
2 for 1 special. Do you have a shoe that the sole's coming off, but it's also hideously disgusting? We can fix that for you. We can make it like new, baby. Oh my god. That is a money-making machine. That's fantastic. I love that.
Your money-making machine. It's a world of magic. Anything can be a money-making machine.
I know.
It's so great, if you look too closely at it, it doesn't make any sense.
Every city has just like one wizard who's like level 3 who can cast a mend, and that's all he is. But that's what it would become his thing, right? Like, my father was a cleaning wizard, and now I'm a cleaning wizard.
He just runs a laundromat. He's like, magic is so far from his mind. He's like, this is just what I do every day.
This is just what I do every day. Things. I just fix stuff and I clean things, And I had to do an apprenticeship for a while, but I'm really good at it, though. So it makes decent money. So, I think I'm just going to keep doing this. You could like cast fireballs and stuff. Why would I want to destroy stuff? I only like mending things.
I like cleaning and mending.
Oh my god.
I can flavor your food while you're here.
Yeah. No, that's his brother's store. It's it's a restaurant where you bring your own food.
There's different stores that specialize in different aspects of the same cantrip.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. You walk into a store and all he sells is like white gruel, tastes like nothing, right? Or like a loaf of bread, flavorless bread, and you walk in and you pick the quantity of like slop that you want, and you go, I want this to taste like a steak, and he's like, you got it, boss. Wha-pow!
Kick it up a notch. Bam!
Kick it up a notch. Bam! Yeah. You're like a over the air wizard cook, dude.
So the laundry guy's like, I can do that too. Like, not like this guy. He does it he prestidigitates so much better.
No.
When it comes
would
to
be like
food.
At first everyone can does it, but do everything that prestidigitation does. But over time, people specialize in one specific aspect of it, and they can do it better than like a normal person, right?
Some old guy who's like been stuck in some magical time period, he comes out and he's like, the hell are you guys doing? This is one cantrip.
No. But he goes, anybody could do this. And he casts it and they taste it and they're like, yeah, well, your girl kind of tastes like shit and his tastes amazing. And you're like, what are you talking about? I added salt and pepper to it with that prestidigitation. Well, like his tastes like a 5-course duck meal. He's like, what's up? I've specialized so hard. And like the guy spills something on his shirt and he goes, wait a minute. I can fix that. The level 20 wizard, and he like casts it, and they're like, there's still a little bit of a stain. And the laundry wizard comes in and goes, what are you doing, amateur? Slides him aside. Wha-bow! All the stains gone. He's like, what the level 20 old wizard's like, what the fuck is happening right now?
He's like, I hate all of you. Upcast level 8 fireball.
Oh. But then the mending wizard comes by and goes, "Did you get your house blown up by a fireball?"
I can mend it better than the guy who blew it up.
I can mend this whole house back together, one brick at a time. You'd only have to train them up to like a small level, right? Yeah,
those are cantrips. This level 1 wizard.
10 wizards on it. 10 wizards on a freaking job, just like knocking things out. What level's mend? I think that's 1, right?
It's cantrip.
Yep. So, it's cantrip. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, 10 level 1 wizards. You're like, are you a down on your luck wizard? Come on down, and we'll hire you to put houses together brick by brick. Magical accident wizards, dude.
There you go. There's where you can end your episode.
Yeah, that was excellent. That was excellent. That was you know what? This is just going to be called the tangent episode.
Well, that's good because that's what it was planned for. So,
all right. Well, see you next week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.